Hey, so you want to print my Lightbox models available either on MakerWorld or on Printables. Let's just open my Printables page here. There we go. I have some exclusive models here on the Printables Club, just $6 a month if you want, commercial license included, while you're subscribed. And you want to print these but you don't have an AMS. Well, I don't have one either. These prints that you see are made with a method that requires one manual change per color. So if you think that is too much work, this video is probably not for you. There's also another method that it's like having a, I call it the no AMS method, but you still slice and color the models, and you'd have to do all the changes manually. For example, if it's a 4-color Lightbox, you would have like 20 manual changes, but I think that method is a bit too much, and I like this one that I'm gonna explain in this video a little better. Here's a link on GitHub where you can find the custom G-code for printing with the manual AMS method, where you color the parts normally and make all the manual changes. I think it's a bit too much work, but if you want to try it out, I'll leave the link in the description. The idea is you print the first color, white, normally with bed leveling and normal Z-hop. Then for the next colors, you're gonna disable bed leveling and increase Z-hop so that the extruder jumps over the colors that are already printed. That's the general idea. Now let's get into the details. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start by choosing a model. This Air Jordan will do. It's one of my favorite. I'm gonna open it in Bambu Studio. Oh, also, if you want my profiles, I'm gonna make them available in Cult 3D. They're gonna be here in a zip folder. It's gonna be 3 profiles, one for the first color, one for the middle colors, and one for the last color. And another one, a last one, it's my PLA profile that I've tuned to reduce wisps. As you can see, I've managed to get some pretty good results. And I'm gonna explain it along in this video, but if you don't want to do the G-code changes yourself, you can just install these profiles by going like here, top left corner, file, import configs, and you'll have my profiles here. It's gonna be the same layer first color, same layer middle colors, and same layer last color. And this profile for my light boxes as well. I have to update it there. I missed it. As well as this generic PLA profile, no auxiliary fan. I've tested it and seen that this gives better results. Okay, so let's get into it, into the actual printing of the model with these profiles. I'm gonna explain first how to use it for the people that buy the Colts profiles, and later in the video I'm gonna explain how you can set it up yourself. A disclaimer, these have been tested on a Bambu Labs P1P as well as the Bambu Labs P1S, but I haven't tested on the X-Series machines, so, and even for the P-Series machines, it has altered G-code, so test it at your own risk and be careful. I suggest the first time you be near the machine and with the hand close to the turn off button in case anything goes wrong. I have tested it, as I've said, but you will never want to be too careful with other people's G-code changes. So first things first, you're gonna go over here to the objects below the profiles for the filaments, and you're gonna select, you're always gonna want to go from the lightest color to the darkest colors. I found that that gives the better results. So you're gonna right click the other colors. I'm gonna leave white and change type to negative part, and the black as well to negative part. Change type, negative part. Okay, now I'm gonna select my profile, same layer, first color. This one is gonna function almost the same as a regular profile. Has normal Z-hop, normal bed leveling, and you're gonna slice it. You're gonna want to slice it. It's taking a bit because my PC is not the best and it's also recording. Let's see if it goes. You're gonna want to print the white color first. You have white loaded up on your machine and you're gonna print this white. You're gonna want to remove this line over here because the other colors will do it again and they will end up one on top of each other if you don't remove it. So either at the beginning or after the first color is finished, you should remove this line over here, especially on the X1 where there's more lines and it can interfere with the design, especially on bigger prints. Okay, so this first G-code has also a change that will keep the bed at the hot at like 65 degrees, just so it doesn't start immediately peeling off after it's ready. So even if you're not near the machine, you can be relaxed and go there when you have the time. It will just keep the bed temp constant. Now, once the white is printed, you're gonna want to change to this profile, same layer, middle colors, and now we're gonna print the middle colors. In this case it's just one. I'm gonna change type to part because I want to print this one now, and the white, which I have already printed, I will change it to negative part. I'm gonna slice it, and now I'm just slicing the red. If you have any other colors between the first and the last color, you will use this print profile. It also keeps the temperature at the end, but this one has disabled bed leveling, which means it won't ruin the white that we printed before or any of the colors that you have printed before. It uses Z-hop. I think it's, let us check. Has a Z-hop of 1.4 millimeters, so it jumps over the colors that have already printed to not ruin them. Okay, now you slice and you print it. Make sure you remove the line or else they will interfere with each other. And now I'm gonna move on to the last color. I'm gonna pick this color. I have to make one of the other colors a part first because you can't have all negative volumes. It will give you an error message. See, you have to have at least one model. So I have yet to print the black. I change type, part. Now I can change the color that I have already printed to negative part. And now I can slice it. And I have the last color, which is black. I have to choose same layer, last color. This one is changed so that when it finishes printing, the bed will turn off and the temperature will slowly decrease and the part will detach after a while, because you don't need it to keep the bed on if it's the last color. The model is hopefully finished after that one. I'm just slicing the black. You print the black and it should be finished. You use the same layer, first color for the first color, middle colors for any colors between the first and the last, and then same layer, last color for the last color. Here's another detail I missed. Let's imagine that you already printed the first white color and you have, like it's shown here, imagine you have this white printed on the bed and the print is finished, the printer is stopped. What do you do now? If you haven't already, remove the purge line, and then without touching anything else, you just go to the menu, unload filament, load filament, the next color that you want to print, and you do this between every single color. I forgot to tell you that you have to manually unload and load using the screen on your printer or the app. I think it also allows you to do that. And that is pretty much how you use this method and these print profiles. Now that I've explained how to use them, I'm gonna go over their specific changes and how you can set it up yourself if you don't want to pay for the models for the profiles that are ready to use here on Cults. If you don't mind changing things up yourself and messing around with G-code, I'm gonna explain that part now. I'm gonna start with my 0.2 same layer profile. First, you're gonna want to change the wall generator to Arachne and the wall transitioning threshold angle to 50 degrees. This will help you with thin walls, make sure they print better, and sometimes these light boxes have some pinholes that can be fixed with this type of wall generation. Another thing that you're gonna want to use is first layer flow ratio increased to 1.08. This is gonna also help you make sure that the connection between the different prints, different colors is better, and also reduce the pinholes that sometimes occur when printing these Lightbox models. You're probably not gonna have this available on your Bambu Studio. You have to go to File, you're gonna have to go to here, Control P, Preferences, and at the end here you're gonna want to enable developer mode. Once that is enabled, here in the quality settings, you'll have access to this first layer flow ratio change. Another thing that helps is changing these to monotonic line. I think the top one is already monotonic line by default. The bottom surface pattern monotonic, and this I think is the change here. It's monotonic line for the layers in between the first and the last. I find that this eliminates some crossing lines that sometimes happen when you put the lines behind it, and this can fix that. At least for me, it has fixed that. Another thing that you may want to consider is increasing the infill wall overlap to 20 or 25%. As I said, it helps joining the different prints and making sure there are no gaps on the first layer that will shine through light when you install the LEDs. It's just another quality change. In terms of speed, I reduced the first layer to 40, but you can even reduce it to 30, and the first layer infill to 90. I also reduced some other speeds. You can print it faster, but I don't recommend it with this method. You might want to even go slower. I find that these produce good enough results for me, so I keep them like this. For the speeds, that is all, and I think that's pretty much it for the quality profile for here, the 0.2 profile. Now I'm gonna go over the changes on the PLA. First, I removed the cooling. I highly reduced the cooling fan just to 10% because by having the auxiliary fan working, I find that I have more wisps on my models, some lines of filament that get stuck in between colors, so I reduce it and this also prevents sometimes the light boxes from coming off the bed on the side of the fan. And since it's a pretty big print, I think it's enough cooling from the print head. Another change is here on the settings overrides. I increased retraction to 1.2 millimeters. This is obviously gonna vary between which type of filaments you use, but for me it's the perfect retraction. I don't have wisps like this. In case you're wondering, I mostly use Winkle PLA HD filaments for black, white colors. I was showing the wrong profile, the 0.2 AMS, which is the one I share on Maker World, but for this method I actually use this, 0.2, same layer. The only change is over here on the XY hole compensation and XY contour compensation. This XY hole compensation will make the holes smaller, and this XY contour compensation will make all contours bigger. What this is gonna do is create a small overlap between each color. So each model slice will have a small overlap. This will ensure that different colors are well welded together, and it won't have gaps that make the model come apart or even look bad when you put LEDs behind it. This is the only change from the profile that I was explaining before, which is the one I share on MakerWorld for people to use with the AMS, but obviously I don't have an AMS yet. The only change is here, this welding of the colors together, because when you're using the AMS, I believe it already does something like this, but I'm not 100% sure. Now that I have explained how to use these print profiles, I'm gonna show you the G-code changes necessary for the same layer first color, middle colors, and last color. Let's start with the first color, machine G-code changes. Let's just quickly browse through this. Not many changes here on the first machine start G-code. Very much the same. You're gonna want to do normal bed leveling for the first color. There we go. It should be it. Now for the machine and G-code, there is a change here. I comment out the turn off bed. That's pretty much it. Okay, and let's go over to the next print profile, which is middle colors. Now in the machine start G-code, you're gonna want to comment. Let me see if I find them first. I'm gonna comment these bed leveling lines so it doesn't ruin the colors that are already printed. I'm gonna comment out all these using this symbol. Comment out every single one of those. Then here you're gonna want to comment the rest, but leave this line if you're using the texture plate, because it sets the Z offset value. The machine and G-code, I also comment for the middle colors the turn off bed line, and that's it for this middle colors. And for the last color, it has the same, pretty much the same as the middle colors, but it also has the bed leveling commented out here everything bed leveling has this symbol to comment the lines, so it doesn't do the bed leveling. And the only change is here in the machine and G-code, since it's the last color, it will turn off the bed. Let's just go over another thing I missed. Here in the same layer first color, the extruder Z-hop. The Z-hop is 0.4 and the type of Z-hop I leave auto. On the middle colors, the Z-hop is 1.4 and the type of Z-hop is normal. On the normal Z-hop, the nozzle lifts straight up, and I didn't want to leave one of the other Z-hops because it interferes with the colors that are already printed. Because if you have 0.8 millimeters already printed and the lift off is a spiral, it will damage the print around it when it lifts up. So I use normal Z-hop for this one and for the last color as well. 1.4 millimeters and Z-hop type normal. And that's pretty much it. If you have any doubts, I know English is not my first language, be sure to leave a comment. This method in theory should also work for printing more than 4 colors with just one AMS, but I'll do a separate video just about it. I'll do one meanwhile, just talking about my ideas, and when I get the AMS, I'm gonna test it out. Also, I'd like to thank all of you for the support on Maker World. It has been overwhelming, and I hope with this I'm giving a little back to the community. As I've said, if you don't want to do the G-code changes or any of the changes really, if you just want to see the first part of the video and use the profiles, you have them available on Colts. I'll update this because it's missing one of the profiles and you can get it that way. Obviously it has a value to it. These are changes that I've tested for months to get the kinds of results that you see here in the pictures, but it's always cheaper than buying an AMS, I think. Anyway, be sure to support me over on Maker World, or if you want to sell my models, I have some exclusive ones already and I'll have more in the future. You can also join my Printables club. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you next time.